Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cardboard Cave. Here for another Super 7 TMNT unboxing. This is Shredder. Let's go ahead and get him out of the box. This Shredder is very much based on the Playmates figure. They have actually released a new version that has silver helmet. Extremely similar though. Same mold, very similar. I think slightly different accessories, but with the silver helmet, which is more accurate to to most things you normally see Shredder in. But the original Playmates figure definitely did have. Sorry, I just noticed that ring is folks. I'm experimenting. This basement has bright lights, but I just have shadows everywhere, and I've got lights everywhere. I really am trying. You know, I do this for free. I have no sponsors, no commercials that I'm paid for. And buying these things is a pretty expensive hobby to begin with, so I can't afford like professional studio lighting. But I'm doing my best, and right now I'm using a ring light right in front of the figure, which is the only way I've found to get some decent lighting. But now I'm seeing this crazy reflection. So don't worry, Shredder is not being abducted by aliens. That is the light you're seeing there. Once he's out of the package, I'm sure you won't even notice. But anyways, there he is in this package with a sort of blue metallic helmet and everything like in the Playmates figure. Again, they do have a silver one that's a newer release that is very similar. Shredder is the hideous, gruesome, and all-around bad guy leader of the Foot Clan. The organized band of evil ninjas. This lowlife came to power when he betrayed his ninja master, Hamato Yoshi, now Splinter. Shredder wants nothing more than control of the world. And to get there, he'll stop at nothing, even if it means grating his victims like cheese with his razor-sharp armor. The obstacles in his path are none other than the turtles, and he means to destroy them. So, pretty intimidating. One final look at him in his package. All right. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. Right. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Just the tray. And here we have Shredder. Take that bottom part away for now. Take that out for now. So the top tray, we have Shredder himself. 2 ninja stars. Weapons just like the turtles come with right there. Those are all just like the regular turtles come with. Over here, his own signature katana. The craziest, most absurd extra head. And from other reviews I looked at, this is apparently directly from a Playmates figure, but it is absurd looking, and I do not remember that. I do not remember that head. I definitely will not be putting that on. As you can see, his eyebrows are painted right onto the helmet, which apparently is how they did it back in the day. So this is purely for nostalgia. It is absolutely hideous. In my opinion, kind of a waste of plastic. Maybe there's one person out there who's so nostalgic for that crazy looking head that they're going to put it on. But I much prefer this head. So he's a little slim on accessories at first blush. But here in the second tray, we will see. Well, you got the usual. We got 2 extra sets of hands. 2 are just punching fist, and 2 are completely open, which means the hands on him are going to be the ones that are meant to hold his accessories. But, of course, we also have the weapons rack that they all come with. Pretty basic, because he's only got 1 signature katana, and the rest are things we've seen before. But I guess his quote-unquote big accessory is he comes with a completely extra cape. And it's pretty cool, because the one he comes with standard is cloth. It's a fabric that appears to have some moldability to it itself, like some wires in here perhaps. We'll look at that for sure. But this one is a more like traditional rubber cape. And it's, yeah, very rubbery, almost like it feels like I'm holding a really thick latex glove. So if you want it to be permanently in this shape, or if you just don't like the cloth for whatever reason, you've got this cape and it will always be in this shape. It is not, you know, going to change like the cloth one you can change around. You'll obviously have to take his head off, take that cape off, and just pop this one on. And it's very bendable. But again, it's meant to stay in that shape right there. And it looks good. So maybe not as exciting as a really crazy weapon, or like, I mean, we've had surfboards, we've had a Mauser, we've had big shotguns and all kinds of crazy accessories. But as far as just being a cool, useful thing, this looks good. So I think that's pretty cool. But let's go ahead. Honestly, I'm not worried about popping any of these out because, again, they're identical to the ones that come with your regular turtles. This head is so hideous. I'm also not worried about popping it out, which means, I'll be honest with you, I'm only popping out this sword and then Shredder himself. But the sword, focus on the sword, there we go. This is pretty cool looking, I have to say. Some pretty good detail there on the hilt. Sorry, this is a little awkward here. I want to figure this out. I've only made, what, 100 videos? And only in the last handful have I really started thinking, you know, I could do better. I could do better with certain things. You know, I am who I am. I'm never going to be editing my videos heavily. Only when it's absolutely 100% necessary do I edit anything. But I want to give you the best view of these things as I can. With the kinds of things I review, I want you to be able to see it well. So there we go. Sword is pretty cool. Uh-oh. You can see up Shredder's cape here. That's creepy. I don't know why I'm trying to show you that. Anyways. Just one twist tie to get Shredder out here. Just going to do that real quick. Just one twist tie. Oh, and his feet are also bound together. Look like a rubber band. So we're going to have to cut that. There we go. All right. You should now come out pretty easily. There we go. Come on, arm. We'll do it. Okay. There we go. We got one side of Shredder out. And now the other side. All right, bag, get away. Okay. Shredder's a little bit out of sorts here while I was doing that. Okay, so here's Shredder. Very muscular, very shirtless. Pretty cool armor pieces here. Oops, still got the, there. So you can see this is very much a cloth fabric here. And let's see. I suppose, okay, that and Velcros, all right. So I think the better look is going to be a more flowing cape. And yes, this is very formable to whatever shape you prefer. So this just comes off, and I do not believe it's meant to go back on if you have the cape out like this. because this rubber belt takes its place. I think it's meant to represent sort of the same thing. And I'm sure over time it could work out some of these wrinkles. But so the middle, the main part of the cape is just fabric. You know, that's all it is. However, the edges all the way around have some kind of a wire, some kind of a bendy metal. So you could get some pretty dynamic poses. Like if he was in the wind, for example, and you wanted I don't know, if the wind was blowing his cape somehow. It's like, he's really trying to get into walk into the wind here. Yeah, it's actually kind of cool. That's something you can't do with the rubber cape for sure. Let's see here. Let's make his legs a little less ridiculous looking. All right. Now, Shredder, work with me here. Like this foot, I think I need to turn the ankle in or something here. There, that's a little better. Well, no, not quite. I'll get him. I'll get there. Okay. Well, while I have you here, I might as well show you the articulation. Head is actually very loose, spins 360, which is not a problem. He can nod yes and no, but I don't think his head really poses differently. He just bends. Of course, you pop that off, you can take that cape off. His arms, of course. And elbows. Oh, upper arms as well. That feels really tight. I'm just not going to mess with that any further. I do believe that is obviously articulation, but I'm a chicken when it comes to that kind of stuff. Unless I really am very determined to get them in a certain pose. I'm just not going to force a joint that I don't care about for the pose I'm looking for. Ooh, that's very tight. This elbow is very tight. There it goes. It goes, though. It makes me nervous when it's very tight, but it goes. It works. Of course, his hips swivel. And as far as the hip joints themselves, he's a smaller, slightly lankier figure than most of the ones in this line. So his legs are actually pretty easy to move around. His hips don't feel super loose or super tight. They're definitely not super tight. They're looser than they are tight, but not super loose. So I like that. Knees bend. Actually, that stance looks maybe a little more natural. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. I don't know. I think his legs need to be straight. Then the feet. Whoa. They rotate all the way around, apparently. Oh, so you can rotate at the top of the boot and at the knee, 360. So he's got some possibilities there. Then the foot itself goes up and down as well. Now, as far as details, obviously there's not as much going on with him as some of the figures, but I have to say in person he looks good. I like, again, I don't really know why Playmates decided on this color for the helmet, but this is what I remember. I remember the figure having a blue helmet. In the show, it's silver. I don't think it was ever blue, but for whatever reason, this is what they went with, so this is nostalgic to me. Honestly, I could go with either one. I also like the silver one. Like, just try to get a little zoom in on his face there. Not like the most amazing painting on him, but he looks good. Just not as much really was required as like some of the crazier figures. I do like these. And these are rubbery, so they're not just going to break off. I mean, they're very flexible, which is a good thing. So you don't poke your eye out or somebody else's eye out, and they shouldn't just break off if you bump them. So I appreciate that. Again, very defined muscles. Rubber belt there. This one's not meant to be removed. Again, this cloth one, you do remove it if you want the cape out, which I assume you would. I mean, I don't know. It looks kind of weird just wrapped around them, I think. Legs, like these shin guards. I don't think these are intended to be removed by any means, but they are cool. And again, that rubbery material. Then the boots look good. Around back. And again, this cape, I'm sure these wrinkles can be worked out a lot better. It's a reasonably thick material. Like, it feels, it's not super thin by any means. And of course, you can just have it straight down like this. I've not really got him in a good pose yet, as far as just a neutral pose. There, I think that's better. Let's see. It's like just more of a neutral position for his cape, like that. Or maybe if he's like in a fighting pose, it'll be kind of swishing to one side or the other. You could have some kind of dynamic poses based on what he's doing. Like, that will hold its shape in that position. Anyways, let's see. Let's go and get his... Let's see. Sword in his hand here. Again, this is really the only accessory besides changing out the cape, which I will show you. This is really the only accessory that I'm going to bother with, because the other ones are all just your basic ones that all the turtles have. Granted, he has 2 arms, so there's no reason you couldn't put one of these in there. Maybe a throwing star or something. No reason you couldn't do that, but I'm not too worried about it. I believe he's right-handed, as far as I remember. Get in there. There we go. It's a tight fit, but it goes in there. And I do like it when it goes all the way. His fingers wrap around it. Clearly, this hand was designed around this weapon, as it should be, since this is only a custom weapon. And that's a good thing. Holds it very well. So here's a good example. If I can get him in a happy position here. Perhaps he is. Ready to face off against Michelangelo here. And there, so you don't have to have his cape straight down. It could be like he's in motion. I think you can get fairly crazy with it if you really want to. And within reason. They're showing quite a bit of motion. And I think it would be okay to use the iron at low heat to get some of these wrinkles out if they don't just fall out on their own, because it is just fabric. But let's try popping his head off here. Should just pop straight off. I'm going to do it. There we go. Just an empty socket in there. And pretty sturdy ball joint there. I'm not too worried about that breaking or anything. This cape comes right off. Leaves that. And yeah, I'll work on getting these wrinkles out before I put it back on. Because I do think this is a cool cape, the way that you can form it in different positions and everything. But let's go with the rubber cape now. Stick that on here. Sits on super easy. And I'm not going to put that ridiculous head on, but I will put this head back on. Takes a little, there we go. That's a pretty easy change out. And let's see how we like this one. All right, Mike, you just stay there for a minute. Okay. This cape is much heavier than the cloth one, so I got to work on its positioning again from where I had it. All right, Shredder, what position do you like to be in to stand a little easier? I can't see any good reason he wouldn't stand easily. I'm just struggling a little bit with it, honestly. He's not a particularly heavy character. I just don't see why it would be any kind of an issue. Do I need to move the legs forward more? What do you want here? What do you want in life? What have I done wrong, Shredder? Oh, okay, I think I see the problem. His feet are not level. It would probably help if they were. One leg is still significantly longer than the other. What am I doing wrong here? Yep, I'm leaving all this in case you were wondering. Of course I am. Maybe that. Maybe that. I kind of feel like this is just a user thing. Like I've got to figure out how he's meant to stand. There's just no reason this figure shouldn't stand fine. No good reason. All right, I got the feet a little more level now. The feet are still a little weird looking. I still don't think I have that quite right. Okay. Bravo. So one leg was basically longer than the other, and I think it's just because of I had this one twisted or something. Anyways, I think that was pretty much user error. I don't think there's anything wrong with how he stands particularly. But here is a better look. I have him standing in a weird position now, but I'm just going to leave him for the time being. From the back, this cake kills it. From the back, this cake looks better, period. It just has the look of a perfect flowing cape. Of course, the problem is there's no dynamic poses. This is this cape. This is what it's always going to look like. But it looks good. I don't know. I think once I get the wrinkles out of the other one, it's pretty cool. I like that it's dynamic and can be posed in different ways. But this one kind of always looks good, you know. It's not like it's tied against his body, but it's not meant to, you know, be molded or posed in any other ways. Yeah, he's standing fine now. Whatever I did, I got his legs the way they like to be. They're just a little off the way I had them before. So yeah, there's Shredder. Compared to a normal turtle, he's a little bit taller, but you know, not really any bulkier. Compared to, say, a Rocksteady, well, there's going to be a huge difference. Oops. Compared to Leatherhead, Leatherhead, who's still disappointing with his loose hips. Even though I always take up for him because I like him so much. He is disappointing with his loose hips more than ever right now. There we go. Once you get him, but obviously a much bulkier character than Shredder. Not necessarily taller, but way bulkier. Let's see. Compared to... Well, all the turtles are basically the same size, so... Like I said, he's roughly the same size as the turtles, just a little taller. Here is... These, of course, all are from the Super 7 Ultimates line. They're all the same. Here is... Baxter Stockman. So Shredder's actually a little taller than Baxter Stockman when you have Baxter Stockman's legs bent like that. But, you know, Baxter Stockman's still a bulkier character overall. So Shredder, he's not tiny, but he's one of the smaller characters. I mean, there's just so many chunky characters in this line. You know, so many mutants that aren't just human-sized. But I guess the turtle's the best comparison. And I think it works. It makes sense. So there we go. Again, as far as accessories, you got the one sword, you got the rubber cape, you got the moldable cloth cape, your basic accessories, that ugly head, ugly head, 2 extra sets of hands, and a weapons rack. So there we go. Let's take you in for a closer look here. Let's see here. Just no attempt at all. No attempt at all on the new iPhone to focus itself. Pretty cool looking figure. I do think I actually like the rubber cake more, at least right now. Maybe once I get the wrinkles out of the other one, I like it more. But yeah, pretty cool looking figure. That's Shredder. He's definitely one of the ones that I would not want to pay $55 for. I think that's too much. There's just a little bit less to him, quite honestly, than, for example, Leatherhead or Baxter Stockman or Bebop or Rocksteady. There's a little less to him than those, so I think a more fair price would be, you know, $35 to $40 range tops. It's not like he has crazy accessories. I do appreciate the extra cape, but I don't feel like there's a ton of money in this cape, so you might consider this the extra cape even, you know, however you want to think about it. But I think I would feel good in the $35 range, which is the range I paid for. For $55, I feel like that's a little much. And again, I don't feel that strongly about some of them. Bebop and Rocksteady are 2 of the last ones I've opened as of the time of me recording this. And although I still think that's too much for the figures, I kind of get it with them. There's just so much to them. I mean, the book, there's just no comparison. The book in these guys compared to Shredder. I'll get it eventually. Is immense. Come on, Rocksteady. There. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't complain about tighter hip joints in pretty much any of these figures. I am getting a little wary of it. It's not a deal breaker for me. It isn't, because you can get it and they'll work. But I should be able to just set this guy down. Anyways, you gotta take my word for it. He's a whole lot bigger than Shredder, even though he's slumping right now. And just more detailed, I think. There's just more going on here. So yeah, I still don't understand. I mean, I do. It keeps it simple, but I kind of wish that Super 7 did not price all the figures the same. Like, now don't get me wrong, I don't want to pay more than $55 for the bigger guys, but I feel like the smaller guys just shouldn't be as much. unless they have some crazy accessories. There's just not as much going on. And I know, I guess that's not really how action figures work. You're not just paying for the amount of plastic. But to some degree, the amount of plastic and the amount of detail should affect the cost, I would think. Anyways, he's a good figure. No serious complaints. That goofy face is goofy, but this one I'll keep on forever. And I really do like this rubber. I think I might keep that on too. The rubber cape. But anyways, I'll give Shredder... I mean, I feel like I got to consider price a little bit in my reviews. The retail price, not necessarily what I paid. But really, as far as making a Shredder in the style of the old Playmates figure, I don't think there's much they could have done a lot better. I mean, he's pretty spot on. We'll go 7.75 out of 10. Because at the end of the day, he just doesn't blow me away the way that like Bebop and Rocksteady did. And that's just the nature of the figure. But since Super 7 at full retail decides to charge the same price for all of them, I think it's fair to rate Shredder lower. Though really, I don't think they did anything wrong. He's great. He's really good. So there you go. Yeah. Thanks for checking out the Cardboard Cave. Please like the video despite the roughness of it. If you're still around watching Cardboard Cave, you have a lot of tolerance for roughness in videos, and I appreciate you. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy stuff like this and lots of other stuff. And leave a comment. You know, I've reviewed quite a few of these now. What's your favorite that I've reviewed so far? And we'll check you out. We'll check you out. See, I can edit that out. This is the end of the video. I'm not going to stop it. We're not going to check you out. That's creepy. We're going to exit the video, and we hope you check out this channel next time. Bye-bye.